You know, the problem with Kaizer Chiefs is not Nabi, it's not the players, it's not the fans, it's not management. But we all have a role to play in the problem. The real problem with Kaizer Chiefs is how we view Kaizer Chiefs and how we act from how we perceive and view Kaizer Chiefs. I had to come to grips with the fact that when I think of Kaizer Chiefs, I think of Ted Dumitri. I think of all of those years we went winning trophies every season. I think of every time we won a medal or won something. I think of Operation Fat Alles. I think of a Kaizer Chiefs that has been and gone. And what we are all coming to grips with is that it's not that thing anymore. And until we are honest with what it is right now, we're going to find ourselves going around in circles. The metaphor I use about the Kaizer Chiefs is if you think of a house, we are worried about the color of the roof. We are worried about the finishing of the walls. Should it be face brick? Should it be painted over? Should it be smooth? When we should actually be worried about the foundation. We don't even know what this house is meant to look like, but yet we're dreaming of a finished product based off of somebody else. You see, the questions that we are answering right now are not questions of a club that is where Kaizer Chiefs is currently. Mamelodi Sundowns has built a structure. They've put up walls. They've made sure the foundation is fine. They've made load-bearing walls. They've done everything they need to do to make sure that the structure is solid. And that allows other people to come in that finish it off, man. The icing on the cake. You see, if you look at a coach like Coach Cardoso, I think Coach Cardoso and Coach Nabi are similar. But the difference is that Coach Cardoso is not being asked to be the structure builder, the architect of what Mamelodi Sundowns is. He is being asked to bring in certain skills that can take Mamelodi Sundowns over the top. Coach Nabi is a guy who's used to those type of teams where there is a structure. And he's coming in to bring in his unique set of skills to take the team over the top. You know, to go back to the house metaphor, foundations are ugly. If I was to show you a foundation of a house before it's been built, before anything has been done that's significant, it's just some lines on the ground and nobody can see what's about to happen. If you didn't know, you wouldn't be able to know what the finished product will be. And I think Kaizer Chiefs is trying so hard to get over that little fact. I want to show you something. If you think about Pitso Mosimane and what happened when Pitso got there. Pitso was a building coach, was a structural coach. Coach Pitso, for everybody that they interview, had a deep knowledge of South African football, had a deep knowledge of every single player, had a deep knowledge of maybe struggling at some point with the supersport, not having the budgets, not being able to do the big things, but having to find the gems and bring out Abotiko and do all of those things. He had a deep understanding of that. Then he went to the national team and got an understanding of management. So you had a coach who was close enough to the ground that he could dig the foundation. Guys, what people don't understand about the Champions League winning Mamelodi Sundowns, outside of Dolly, Billiat, it wasn't a sexy team. The cornerstones of that team Abo Langerman. The cornerstones of that team, Abo Ntete, Abo Hlompo Kekana. It's guys that you wouldn't say are going to be the best. If I told you that Thabo Tete would leave Bloemfontein Celtic, Mr. Cool, and go join Sundowns to go win a Champions League, a lot of people don't even know who I'm talking about. But he had soldiers and he had to grift, because that is where Sundowns was from when he took it over. You have to start with the foundation. Chiefs does not yet know anything about what they're doing. We're worrying about top line things that don't matter right now. You're worried about buying the most quality players, yet you don't know where they're going to fit. You want the best looking door for your house. You don't even have a frame. You don't even have walls around it. What's that going to do, and what's it going to help? It'll be a very pretty door, but its use, its utility, what it works for means nothing. You'll have a very pretty Kama Billiard. You'll have a very pretty Lebogang Manyama. You'll have a very pretty Higgin Dolly. But you won't be able to finish it off because you're not quite sure what you're doing. You know, Chiefs fans have been fighting me when I've been saying just a mere fact. For the last 10 years, a lot of that time has been spent not at the top, not at number 2, not at number 3. In fact, the last few years have been spent below 5. Last season we finished number 10. So for me, that is an everyday PSL club. That is a club that is no different to Amazulu, who also went to number 2 at some point with Benny, similar to when we went number 2 with Middendorp, crashed back down to earth. Now they're fighting back. But the key is in the questions you're trying to answer and the answers you're trying to give to questions. This Chiefs team is not a fallen giant that has recently fallen that needs to be resurrected. It's a team that is almost 10 years without a trophy. It is a rescue job. Do you know what you do in a rescue job? You hire Coach Pitso and you say, hey, Gunzima, I need you to use what you have here to guide us out of this almost not relegation, but relegation-y feeling. This mid-table feeling. I need you to come in and perform some emergency surgery just to get us back in. The first few months that Coach Pitso got at that team was a rescue job. Came in halfway through the season. Rescued them. Next phase now starts. The next phase is, okay, you've got enough knowledge to go and find the gems that nobody else really knows. And we bring them into this team and you can win a league. I guess best case scenario was him winning the league the following season. And once you've built, we enhance to the point where we've got a structure that can carry a big change. Now we've got a structure that's at the place where man has one story, I mean double story now. You can bring in Abo Flemingberg. You know, you can bring in Abo Cardoso on top of the structure. Lucas Ribeiro Costa is not being asked to be a foundational piece of Mamelodi Sundowns. Lucas Ribeiro Costa is coming in to be the best player in this Sundowns that has already set him a foundation. Coach Cardoso is being asked to take Mamelodi Sundowns over a hump. He is not being asked to build the car. Perception is everything. And I think teams like Chiefs, teams like Manchester United, teams like Arsenal are struggling to come to grips with the fact that this is where you are now. Not where you were 20 years ago, not where you were when Alex Ferguson was there, not where you were when Stuart Baxter won leagues, not where you were when Ted Dimitri was here, not where you were when all of these teams and coaches and whatever, they were winning consistently. To the point where you were even arrogant enough to say you don't want to go to the Champions League. You are now in a place where you need to start kha'a. And again, you can buy all of the tiles in the world. You can paint them any color that you want. But if your roof tiles don't have a house to sit on, if your great coach, don't make no mistake, Nabi's a great coach. If your great coach, finishing piece, doesn't have the structures under him. Think about how many coaches Coach Rulani had under him, or the staff that Coach Rulani had under him in his last season. Think about what's happening in development. Think about what's happening in management. Think about how many people you have to go through. Abo Trotmoloto, Abo Fleming Bag. How many layers you have to go to before you meet Utlopi. Because it's set. I'll use another example. Pirates, for all intents and purposes, knows exactly what they are, how they play, what they're looking for. Jose Rivero is not reinventing Pirates. The same Fukeng is following the line of Abolodge. The same Tito is following the line of a lot of number 10s that have been incredible at Orlando Pirates. What line is Cele following? What line is Mdu following? Lilepo. So this takes me to the last thing that I want to speak about. Where do you go from here? Okay, so I know I stopped the video a lot, and a lot of you are wondering, why are you asking for money? So I wanted to show you. I asked for money because I want to do more of this. Huh? But the truth of the matter is that it took over an hour in order just to render that shot. And it takes even longer when I'm doing my normal content because, guys, here's the unsung hero of the channel. And unfortunately, Shem, but the screen is broken. I have to use a second screen, and the performance is not up to it. So I'd really love to upgrade things like that. And when you look over here, this is what the setup looks like. Rehenga di patlo and rehenga di green screen, which is a reality of being a South African content creator. Also, this is what people think is my studio. It's actually my house. So if you still don't know that I'm doing all of this from my home, then I don't know. But that is essentially what I want to do. More of these cool things. But I need you guys to please help me out by donating 50 Rand or more into this account. You know, we're fighting for multi-choice. And for multi-choice, but there is subscription models all over the place. And I'd love to give the biggest quality while also being able to pay my rent and do things like that. That is where your money is going. And I promise to give you only the best content that I can if you do throw something in. So I just wanted to show you guys what I want to do with your money. I want to take this South African football and fulfill my dream of taking it into the future. But thank you guys so much. Remember, this is the bank account that you deposit into. Get back into the video. You know, for a mid-table team, any other of the mid-table teams that are struggling, you know, they play their big games versus Pirates. They play their big games versus Mamelodi Sundowns. The ones that are big, not even important, but just big. They play against those guys because they're up for it. But on the other days, they can't quite get it right. They create chances, can't finish. They do those things. I'll look at a Stellenbosch. What I enjoy about Stellenbosch, losing players every year, but what I enjoy about Stellenbosch is that they don't do anything that's outside of the capabilities of the players that they have on board. They have a logic, they have a humbleness to them, humility, in that they just take the players and play them exactly how they are meant to play according to their strengths. There was an interview where they asked to Coach Barker about umthetho. And he said, I see him playing at Chiefs. I'm paraphrasing, but I see him playing at Chiefs. And I just think to myself, I just used him differently. I think now is the time to put away all of the grand plans and the grand ideas and the grand all of those things and say, okay, what is the simplest move that we can make right here? If we know that Umdu is going to miss one-on-one, we know that Ashley Dupreez is going to miss one-on-one or whatever, we need to make sure that we're creating as many chances for these players as possible in what they are comfortable in. Ashley Dupreez is a pace merchant. What did they do at Stellenbosch? Was he asked to play on the wing? Was he asked to drop in and play 10? No, he runs. When Stellenbosch had Reyners, was he asked to drop back and tackle? Was he asked to hold the ball? No. But the humility of Steve Barker says, hey man, do the thing you're good at. Modi, the goals that we've seen from Modi have pretty much been the same type of goal. Cut in from the left, shoot at the top of the box. Okay, how do we make sure that he cuts in from the left, shoots at the top of the box? Ukros, we see that he struggles tracking back. How do we structure the team so that he can go forward and we can have cover, or he doesn't go forward? I feel like by now we all know the strengths and the weaknesses of the players. So now it's about crafting a team and an identity around those players. And it's not that you're going to keep this identity long term. I don't think for the football that Mamelodi Sundowns played right before Pitso left and into Rulani and all of those guys, I don't think the plan was to keep the ugly football that won you the Champions League, or to keep the ugly football that won you multiple leagues in Pitso's time. But there were necessary building blocks to make sure that when you want to play this beautiful football that you want to see later on, you've got a foundation. Coach Nabi said something very interesting in an interview where he said, every time he speaks about Kaizer Chiefs, and this goes back to the point that I'm making about perception, every time he speaks about Kaizer Chiefs, he goes, oh, but it's Chiefs. Oh, I could play low block, but big teams play attractive football. It's Chiefs. It's Chiefs. What is Chiefs? And maybe you sacrifice the beauty now in order to get the results that can build the confidence, that can build the winning mentality, that can build a lot of the fundamentals that you need, that can build us leaders within the team, so that when it's now time to do the next step and be beautiful, you've got players who are secure, you've got players who are who know what their role is, what they're doing. You've got fans who understand, who know the winning side, who know all of that stuff. So maybe they understand later on that when we move into winning beautifully, you're not basing it off of 10 years of ugly or 10 years of losing. You're basing it off of 2 or 3 years of success. Now maybe you treat the next coach a lot better. Maybe you treat the next players a little bit better. You see, Pirates is at a very nice place right now. Look at how grateful, how full the Pirates fans are right now. Because they got a little bit of winning. They won the 5 trophies. So now you've got a lot more leeway. You look at Chiefs' history. we didn't care that much about the league. We haven't won that many of them in the PSL era, but we didn't care that much about the league because you were winning trophies every year. And what that allows is that trophy comes in, everybody relaxes, everybody celebrates, everybody's happy. That happiness carries you through multiple years, where then maybe when you're building without the eyes, you're building without the noise, you're building without all of the fanfare that goes around the Kaizer Chiefs. You are just straight building. Not building while things are going wrong. In Riasha. And when you're in the kitchen trying to make food. So, like I say, the realization for me is, again, it's not about Chiefs, it's about how we view Chiefs. And once you change your view and you are honest with where you are, you can sign every single player. You can chase Mamelodi Sundowns. You can follow them to South America and you can sign all those guys. But how will they fit? Similar situation with what we had with all of the times where we tried to do CBD, Castro Doli Piliat. On paper, it's the same 3 players. On paper, it's the same 3 great players. On paper, it should be working. But in reality, there's so much more under these 3 that is built out. So you're copying page 9 instead of focusing on page 1. And you can have an idea of how the house is going to look. You can have an idea of how this and that, you'll finish it off with this, and the TV is going to sit here, and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. But you're going to have to start with an open plot. And if you don't have the right sequencing, you don't have the right plans, what happens is that one wall is built that's different to another wall, that's different to another wall. And then somebody else comes in and builds something else. And somebody else comes in and paints this one like this. But then this one wants quality materials. But then this one was given development players. And then this one is doing this and this one is doing this. Jiggy. When things start to shake, the house comes down. There's so much that Chiefs has to look at. It's no different to a Man United, where everybody feels like they're pulling in different directions. But I think forget about the big team ideas and strategies and focus on the survival. Because you're far closer to a Skukune, to a Stellenbosch. Oh, Stellenbosch might even be too far. To a Skukune, to a Polokwane City. Now Amazulu has jumped the Kaizer Chiefs, for example. Then you are to Sundowns. So instead of champagne fixes, and looking to do things that Sundowns is doing 20 years down in their process. Where Sundowns started the way that Chiefs is doing right now, with Stoichkovs, with signings upon signings upon signings, with Nieskins, with all of those guys, before they settled on, hey, let's look at the guy who's the best in class of the following coaches, the guys who are just below. And let's allow him to do what needs to be done for us to build back up to here. But if you're not going to do this work, and you're not going to look at your Skukunes, your Polokwane cities, look at how they run look at how they run their tactics, their teams, look at how they're results based. If you don't look at your Stellenbosches, look at how they run their teams, look at how they've built their squads, their technical staff, their developments, and all of that stuff. If you don't look at how they've got one unified vision, and maybe all they're lacking is a little bit of financial muscle that a team that Chiefs has, that a team like Chiefs can take that and go here, then you're always going to be going around in circles. You're always going to be building. You're always going to be cooking. But you'll never live in the house. You'll never eat the food. My parting metaphor is very simple. You have bread. You can think about sushi. You can think about ribs. You can think about all that stuff. which is just out of your reach. You can't reach it. And you can say, I'm not going to eat this thing until I have that thing. But you'll starve. Take the bread and make a sandwich. Give yourself another day so that you can go and then get the sushi and then get the ribs later on. But rushing there before usuti, rushing there before you've done the right things will always hurt the club. So I'm begging all of us to be honest. Management, honest. Coach, honest. Players, honest. Fans, honest. Media, honest. Because that's the only way you will build, with the actual facts and not your feelings about a thing. And watch it turn around very quickly. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys on the next one.